Hello everyone, I'm Aaron Pletz, and today I'm going to take you through creating a new DSE cluster on top of Amazon EKS and Mission Control. All right, let's go. Okay, before I get going here, I'm going to have a look at some of the services running in my Mission Control namespace. So let's go ahead and say kube control get service namespace. Would help if I spelled namespace properly. Mission control. So let's have a look here. Okay, you can see that Mission Control has a number of services running on its behalf. You have Loki and Mimir for logs and metrics. But here's one that we have for the Mission Control UI. So why don't I copy that, and I'll say let's expose this. So let's say kube control expose service Mission Control UI. I'm going to say type load balancer name Mission Control UI, and I'm going to have this in the namespace of Mission Control. And we want this to be available on port 8080. And let's also set the target to that. Okay, let's run that. Oh, and evidently I tried to name the load balancer the same as the service itself, and that's not allowed. So let's just, under name here, do a -lb, and that should be okay. Okay, all right, so service exposed. Let's rerun our get service one more time here. And yeah, you can see I have my Mission Control UI load balancer, and it's being exposed with this DNS entry. So let's see if this DNS entry is active. Yeah, can't resolve. Sometimes it takes a little bit for it to be active and come up. Oh, here we go. After a couple of tries over the last couple of minutes, I'm still not getting a request timeout back, but that's because the ping port isn't open, but I am getting an IP address back. So that tells me that this DNS name should now route. So let's go ahead and open up a new tab. And I'll paste that in, and we'll say 8080. And if this works, I should get my Mission Control UI. Oh. Let's go back. HTTPS. And yep, and proceed anyway. Hey, all right. So now I can go ahead and log in. Okay, so now I'm into Mission Control. And I also don't have to worry about running a port forward just to get access to Mission Control on my local. And now I have an endpoint that sticks around there forever. Although going forward in production, I'll, probably want to put an SSL certificate on it. But, for our purposes, this is okay. I did actually shoot this portion of the video later, but the more I thought about it, the more I thought, well, maybe this is something that I ought to show first. So that's why the project backdrops don't match up here with what you're about to see next. So in case you haven't, the first thing you're going to want to do is create a new project. And just say Aaron's proj. It'll also do one with a unique product slug on here. You can say create. Excellent. Hey, welcome to Mission Control, Aaron. Outstanding. So let's just real quick test this out. Let's say create cluster, and let's go with moving pictures. All right. So let's say that we want to stick with DSE. Version 6.9.2 should be great. For our data center name here, we'll say spirit of the radio. Yep, we're going to have that on our data plane or control plane context because, well, we just created it and it's the only one. Going to set the rack name to R30. And I am going to add a node affinity label. This is where I'm going to specify mission-control datastax.com/role. And I'm going to give this a value of database. That's going to tell Mission Control to look for the database nodes inside of Kubernetes or our EKS cluster and ensure that our Cassandra nodes are only running on the database nodes. So that's what that does. We'll go 3 nodes per rack. Yep, automatic. So minimum resources, let's go 8 gigs of RAM. Storage class, we'll say GP3. And storage amount, we'll just go 10 gigs. That should be good for now. Super user password. We don't need to worry about that. So with 8 gigs of RAM, I'm going to go with a 4 gig heap. No external data center. And I want the data API deployed. So with all that set, let's run it. All right, our cluster is creating. All right, if I want to keep an eye on this operation, from the terminal, I can say kube control get pods namespace, and it's Aaron's proj with my unique slug on the end there, and I can hit enter there. All right, and you can see that we have pods for our 3 nodes initializing, so they're definitely out there. Can take a look inside of the AWS Console here. See it's a status of pending. Looks like everything's being successfully scheduled here. Volumes attached, that's good. Waiting, initializing, waiting, initializing. Okay, so now you can see that, our cluster has come up. We also have services out there running for the data API and for CQL shell. And there's one for Reaper as well. That's a node by node operation. So yeah, let's go take a look and see if we can get out there. You can see, yep, we have our 3 nodes all running here on DSE 6.9.2. So yeah, this is ready to go. And this will take a second to come up here. But my cluster can be accessed using the moving pictures all right, and my password is going to be, hey, and look at that, we got in. Yeah, so we can take a look at the cluster in here. We can say select star from system local. All right, yeah. So yeah, we're definitely good here. Likewise, we could do the same from system peers. Oh, and sure enough, yep, we have two other nodes that are available there. As for other ways to get at our data, we can go ahead and use the data API as well. And if I look at my services running here in my project namespace, you can see that I do have a moving pictures data API here that I have exposed to the load balancer. So previously I've done a kube control expose service, type load balancer on this moving pictures data API. And it has this DNS entry right here for port 8181. So let's see if we can get that to work. So before I can test out the Data API service, I have to compile my token, which will allow me access via the Data API. To do that, what I'm going to do is have a look at the 64-bit encoded username and password for my cluster. So to get that, I'm going to do a kube control get secret, and this is going to be moving pictures super user, and we're going to say namespace, and then paste in my namespace, and then I want this output as YAML. Okay, so right here is my 64-bit encoded password, and here is my 64-bit encoded username. So the way this works is that you can go ahead and create your Cassandra token by just using the word Cassandra with a capital C. This is just an example, by the way. Maybe I'll do echo Cassandra, and then I want to paste in our 64-bit encoded username, and then colon, and then I'll paste in our 64-bit encoded password. Bam, and we have our token. And now I can grab our token and paste that in as a header variable for all of my RESTful calls through Postman. So if I go into Postman here, let's go to create namespace, and I'm going to use, right here, I'm going to paste in, there we go. So now we have that URL in there. We're going to create a new namespace named default namespace. For the replication options, we're going to set network topology strategy, and then our data center name is Spirit of the Radio, and we want 3 replicas out in that data center. So let's go ahead and run this. All right, and we have status okay. I will also add that I have gone in ahead of time and set my Data API token, inside as a header variable, so that it can use that for authentication. So now that we've created a namespace, or the equivalent of a key space in Cassandra, let's go ahead and do a create collection. Simply put, I'm going to go to that same URL, and I'm going to specify our default namespace on the end of that URL here. And I'm going to use the create collection command, and I'm going to name it hard drives. Simple enough. Okay, hey, status okay, that worked. All right, now let's look for an insert 1 here. So I'm going to say, I don't have this pre-prepared, so I'm just going to put this in. Insert 1. And, we're going to say document. And we're keeping track of hard drives. So let's say, size. And, we can say 500 gigabytes. And we can say machine, Emily's Linux box. And we can say OS, Ubuntu, and file system, we'll say ext4. Let's see if it'll let us do that. Hey, there we go. We actually did get a valid okay. So let's go ahead and grab this this UUID that came back for a record. And if we go to find one, We're kind of looking at the same thing here, where we have a find, we have a filter, and that filter is on the ID field. So if I paste our UUID in there, I ought to be able to run this and get data back on our one hard drive. Oh, it didn't like something there. All right, so we have that all set. Let's give it another shot once. Hey, there we go. That time it worked. I just had to set my operation up here to a post instead of a get, and then it worked. But yes, you can see that we actually are getting data back. So hey, we've successfully exposed that data API endpoint through a load balancer in Kubernetes, and now we can access it using Postman or any application that can use the DataStax data API. So hey, there you have it. We've gone ahead and created a brand new Amazon EKS cluster. We've installed Mission Control on top of it, and then created a new DSE cluster inside of that. For more information on DataStax Mission Control, just head on out to datastax.com/products/mission control. There you can find all the information you need, including downloads and documentation. Thank you and have a great day.